by Hannah Torregosa. Senator Richard Gordon today Sunday vowed to ensure that the Senate's investigation into the previous administration's alleged anomalous procurement of P3.5-B anti-dengue vaccines would be nonpartisan. Senator Richard Gordon, Jansen Romero/File Manila Bulletin. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, which he chairs, will begin its probe on the controversial dengue vaccines tomorrow, following French pharmaceutical company Sanofi Pasteur's reported admission on November 29 that the vaccines pose serious health risks to those who had never contracted dengue before. Former President Benigno Aquino III's apparent involvement in the approval of the vaccines has repeatedly surfaced in previous hearings into the issue. Pray for a good investigation, wala pong partisan yan. Kaibigan ko rin holaha ngmga dong, involved, dian pero napapilitan ho taong mag-imstiga dahil nung isang don pa dapat yan na natapos at, it's not going to be partisan. I know most of all those involved in the issue, but we need to investigate this. It should have been finished last year, Gordon said in an interview over Radio DZBB. Aside from Gordon's committee, the Senate Committee on Health and Demography and Finance, which Senators Joseph Victor, J.V. Ejercito and Lauren Legarda respectively chairs, will also join the hearing, even though Ejercito said his panel has decided to hold in abeyance its own investigation into the issue and wait for the World Health Organization's, WHO, report on the case. The vaccines were administered to more than 700,000 school children, with 8 or 10% of them being inoculated even without having had dengue. Gordon said the scandal over dengue has given individuals and families nationwide to be skeptical and fearful of government-initiated vaccination programs. It gave vaccination a bad name. Why? Because the government did not exercise due diligence when they should have tested and checked those medicines first, he said. Huwag dapat tayong complacent, dapat alisto tayo, we shouldn't be complacent, we should be alert, Gordon reiterated. Looking at the timeline prior to the Aquino government's procurement of the vaccines, the senator said, there were very strong signs of conspiracy to buy the dengue medicines. Asked if he believes ex-President Aquino's fingerprint is all over the case, Gordon said he is just stating the obvious. He was the one who met with officials of Sanofi. And, former Health Secretary, Jeanette Guerin had the courage to make that trip to Paris to meet with executives of Sanofi prior to PMO's meeting with them in December of 2015, he said. Gordon, in his privilege speech last year, said the government's P3.5-B immunization deal with Sanofi smacks of a midnight deal, given as it was approved on December 29, 2015, before the start of the 2016 May election campaign period. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has ordered the suspension of the sale of the dengue vaccine, while the present Duterte government is now bent on seeking a refund of the P3.5-B funds. Gordon said aside from Aquino, Guerin, and also former Budget Secretary Florencio Butch Abbott should explain the government's procurement of the dengue vaccines, given that he cannot release funds without the authority of the president.